Hi, my name is Amy and I'm a chartered physiotherapist from West Cork and I'm a paddler with West Cork Kayak Club. Hannah asked me to do a workshop with you on shoulders. So shoulders are one of the areas that paddlers get very prone to injuries in. So what I thought I'd do is I would explain to you the anatomy of the shoulder, because that will help to explain why things might happen. And then what I will do is I'm going to go through some very basic exercises, what you can do at home to strengthen up your shoulder for paddling, and then some nice stretches that you can do to warm up before you go on the water. If you do have a problem, it is really important that you do get it seen to, and that you do go and see a physio or you go and see your doctor, because as we get older, problems don't go away. Okay, so the shoulder. So the shoulder is actually quite a complicated joint. And the reason it's such a complicated joint is that the shoulder is an area that sacrificed stability for mobility. So if we look at our elbow joint, it bends forward and back and the palm goes up and down. That's all it moves, and it's really stable. When it comes to our shoulder moves up, it moves down. It moves up sideways and it comes back down. It can rotate out and it can rotate in, and it comes all the way back behind us. So our shoulder moves in multiple directions. If our shoulder was a tight, closed knit joint, it wouldn't have that much movement. The shoulder is attached to the body. The shoulder joint itself is a very small, teeny joint. It's not a very tight grip joint. The arm is attached to the body just here at this point. So in front, it's attached to my body by my collarbone, and underneath my collarbone are my big, huge pectoral muscles. So that's here at the front. And if we look at the back, my shoulder is attached onto my back muscles by my scapula or my shoulder blade. So the only point of contact, bony contact, that my arm has with staying in the body is right here at my clavicular joint. Okay, so for the arm and the shoulder to work efficiently, an awful lot of muscle work must occur. So at the back, the arm is attached to the body via muscles by your shoulder blade or your scapula. The humerus, or the arm muscle, is attached to the body by what we call our rotator cuff muscles. These then are attached at the front of the body to our collarbone, which is attached here. The only bony attachment is here. So here our pec muscles hold. Here our rotator cuff muscles, you've all heard the word, and at the back then our big, huge back muscles help to keep the shoulder in place. Now, because muscles at the front and muscles at the back help to keep the shoulder in place, there has to be a lot of balance between the muscles. The arm is attached to the body by rotator cuff muscles, and I'm sure everybody has heard these muscles mentioned, but nobody really understands what they are. So the rotator cuff are four muscles. So the head of the humerus is like a ball shape, and four muscles grab the head of the humerus like you're holding a ball. So these four muscles wrap around the ball, and that's how the arm stays with the shoulder. And like a ball, we get loads of movement. So these four muscles need to be working in unison and need to be working really well together to make sure that there is an equal grip of four fingers on the head of the ball. An awful lot of paddlers tend to get, you've heard of supraspinatus tendinitis, or you have heard of rotator cuff tears, and that can sometimes be because when we are paddling, we are very much overusing muscles in one direction. And again, our arm muscles haven't really been developed for doing long-term stuff, okay? So what we can call repetitive strain injuries. The second thing is, and this is what's really interesting to us as paddlers, is that our rotator cuff is four muscles. But as you can see, there's always one area where it's weakest. So with us, our muscles are here, 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 and here and at the back. So as paddlers, one of the areas that we try and avoid as much as possible is this position, because if you look at my ball, so this is my ball, okay, and as in my armpit here, there's no muscles under there, and then as I start to rotate out, okay, the head of my shoulder is coming here, and this is what we call our dislocation position. So this is, I suppose, the most vulnerable position of your shoulder. So this is the position that if you were rolling and hit a rocker, we don't do high braces really anymore, because we are putting our shoulder into this position. So that's why we try and avoid that position as much as we can. So what can you do to help your shoulder? There's an awful lot that you can do to help your shoulder. So first and foremost, I want you to understand that when we have any shoulder problems, okay, because the shoulder is attached at the front of our trunk, at the back of our trunk, the shoulder itself doesn't work in unison. You need to look at the whole body, and you need to see the connection of the whole body in relation to the shoulder. So if you're rehabbing a shoulder, you can't just see it as its own separate entity. You have to look at the whole body. So one of the very big things when it comes to shoulders is the relationship between our neck muscles and our trunk muscles. So I want you to grab your paddles, and if you don't have your paddles, even just a sweeping brush or something that's nice and long, okay? Now, okay, so these big muscles here on the front and on the back of our body, these help to keep our shoulder blade lovely and flat against our back. When my shoulder blade is lovely and flat against my back, my arm is in a lovely position to move. The muscles in my neck are also attached to the top of my shoulder blade here, or my collarbone, and they're attached to the top of my scapula here. So these muscles above our scapula and above our shoulder are meant to move our neck, and these big power muscles under my clavicle are meant to move and stabilize my shoulder. However, what happens is that if over time, if we're having a very stressed job, or if we have an injury, or if we spend a lot of time at a computer, what happens is these muscles tend to take over an awful lot more. Okay, so when these muscles take over an awful lot more, over time this can lead to aches and pains in the front of the shoulder, and it can also bring our shoulder blade up into a much more elevated position. Okay, so I want you to get your paddles, and I want you to try a few things with me. Okay, so the first thing when it comes to our shoulders and keeping our shoulders happy is we need our neck muscles to be as soft and as relaxed as they can be. So I want you to close your eyes if you can. Okay, and I want you to feel the muscles above your shoulder blades and above your scapula. I want you to squeeze your hands really tight and really grip your paddles, and I want you to feel what happens. The more you grip, I want you to feel what happens your neck muscles, and I want you to feel that your shoulder muscles gradually come up towards your ears, okay? Relax your fingers, keep your fingers soft and your shoulders relax. When it comes to shoulders, if we focus on the shoulder for rehab, because we're not used to, we don't know our points, it's very hard for us. So with the shoulder, we tend to look at the fingers and the elbow instead to lead a lot of rehabilitation, okay? So let's try that again. So I want you to have lovely soft fingers, and with lovely soft fingers, I want you to feel how your shoulder feels lovely and loose. I now want you to grip the paddles, and grip the paddles more and more and more. And as you grip the paddles, I want you to feel that your shoulder elevates, and I want you to feel how your elbow gets quite tight, okay? So what we're doing is when we grip the paddle, we are switching on these neck muscles, and we are toning down the strength of these big, strong trunk muscles that we need to keep our shoulder nice and aligned. So the first thing is, if you are very stressed when you're paddling, or if you are breathing up into your neck when you're paddling, what you're doing is you are toning down the input of these really big power muscles, and you're using smaller muscles instead, okay? So that's the first thing. So the first thing is your hand position and your fingers is very important when it comes to switching on your shoulder muscles. So your first take-home message is, at all times, What are my hands doing? Are my hands gripping the paddle, or are my hands soft on the paddle? So you can hold the paddle quite steadily using your thumb, keeping it in place, but avoiding this really heavy gripping, because it's not letting you use your big power muscles that you need for your stroke, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that's really important is our elbow position, okay? So I just want you for a second, again, I want you to feel your neck muscles, okay? So I want you to take your paddle with your soft hands, okay? Your elbows are by your side, they're tucked in by your side. I want you to imagine you're pushing your two thumbs in towards each other. And as you push your two thumbs in towards each other, you should feel your muscles on the front working and the muscles on the back working. Feel your big pec muscles and your big back muscles working, okay? Now I want you very gently to take your elbows out to the side and now push in. And now you're going to feel how your neck muscles are working. So our elbow position is very linked to using small neck muscles or using big power muscles. So just play yourself and find your own limit. So when your elbows are tucked in up to a certain point, you use your big muscles. The minute the elbows come out here, you're starting to use your neck muscles and you are lowering the use of your big power muscles. So as much as possible, we keep soft hands. We keep our elbows nice and loose by our sides. This also comes back to if you're doing a lot of commuting and if you're stuck in traffic a long time, you're gripping the steering wheel, your elbows are up. This comes back as well to if you're spending a lot of time over the computer, your head is forward, your stressed fingers from typing, the elbows are up again. So the same rules in your paddling applies in your workplace or in your commute. You keep your elbows in, you keep yourself soft, okay? And if you feel tension, working at breathing down into your lower tummy, okay? So the first thing for shoulder rehab and for minding your shoulder is your awareness, okay? Again, when we're paddling, the more distal you work, like your little finger or your elbow, the more you engage the big muscles, okay? The more you focus on your shoulder, the more you get your small muscles working. So when you're paddling, you know, you're leading with your little finger, and when you take the paddle in, you're pulling back through your elbow. You're making sure that your elbow is staying in nice and tight. You're making sure that your elbow isn't up here when you're pulling in, okay? So that's the first thing. So the first thing is your hand position, and the second thing is your elbow position and the link between the two. Okay. Oh yeah. So when we have the paddle with our elbows by our side, if we are pushing the paddle in, we are working our pec muscles in the front. Let's do the same with our back muscles. So your two hands are on the paddle, you're up nice and tall. Okay, your elbows are tucked in. Now I want you to imagine that you're pulling the shaft apart, and I want you to feel your mid-back getting really strong and release. So when you pull the paddles apart, when you feel that power down, ladies by your bra strap area and men in their mid-back, these are the muscles at the base of our shoulder blades. And these muscles are the muscles that give our shoulders strength. So the more you work your scapula, we call it scapular stabilization, the stronger these muscles are, the more your scapula is held against your trunk and the stronger your arm is, okay? And the less your neck muscles are working. So even very simply, sitting on the water, engaging, pulling your paddle shaft apart and just feeling these back muscles working, okay? Now I want you now to again feel the disconnect between shoulder blades and neck muscles. Now take your elbows out a little bit, pull the shaft apart, okay, and out a little bit more, pull the shaft apart, and all of a sudden you're going to start to feel your neck muscles tightening. You're going to feel your posture changing, okay, the chin is going to stick out, okay. Now take the elbows back in again, lengthen through your head, do it again, and you feel your back muscles working, okay. So we want to work the muscles at the front, we want to work the muscles at the back, and we don't want our neck muscles to work, okay? So that's with your paddle, and think about that when you're paddling, okay? Now, some very simple exercises that you can do at home. Everybody has TheraBand at home, okay? If you don't have TheraBand, you can get a pair of tights or get a pair of leggings, okay? Those of you who sit at a desk at work, hang this off a door handle. You can never do too many exercises for your rotator cuff, okay? So I'm going to sit on my elastic. Okay, and I'm going to start working the muscles in my back. So what I have done here is I have my TheraBand. I want to show you working two ways. So when my hand is by my side, okay, I can do it first of all with my thumb to the ceiling, and I just take my hand out to the side and I bring it back in again. So if you watch, it's like if a skewer was put down through my shoulder. Okay, I am pulling it out and I am pulling it in. You can tie this onto a door if you want. And again, I am pulling it out and I am pulling it in. If I have weakness in my shoulder, you might see me trying to do this. Okay, so when I do this, pulling out the elastic, what I'm doing is I am working the deep muscles around the back of my scapula, but I'm also working the rotator cuff at the back of my arm. So I'm giving the back of my shoulder strength. So if you have your elastic, let's go for 10. 1, 2, or leggings, whatever you have. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, remember my ball. Remember when I turn the hand up or down, I change the finger that is attached to the ball. Okay, so now I can change my rotator cuff. I now take my knuckles in front and we go for 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I can do the other side. So I turn my thumb down as much as I can. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and rest. Okay? So that's the first thing that I do is I pull away from my body. And now that's working the back. And now we need to balance the front of the body. Okay? So now I take the elastic on the other side. And now what I do is I pull my hand and across my body. It's much easier when it's tied to a door. Okay? So now what I'm doing is the same thing. I can start with my thumb up. So I'm working the front of my rotator cuff. And because I'm pulling it towards me, I am now working the opposite side of my shoulder. I'm working my deep pec muscles and I'm working some of my ab muscles. So when you're ready, it's 1. And again, I am just moving my elbow. 3, 4. It is easier, touch the door. 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, change my hand position, thumb to the ceiling. I'm now working a different rotator cuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Marvelous. Change sides. Elbow by my side. Okay. To switch off these neck muscles, if I imagine that the top of my head, the parting in my head is being elongated up to the ceiling, right? What that does is it helps with my neck muscles to get them out of the equation. If we focus on a muscle, it's like the way we say, don't look at the rock. You look at the rock. So if we focus on the shoulder, or if we focus on the neck muscles, they're going to work. So that's why we focus on everything except what we want to work on, okay? So my elbow is pinned in by my side, okay? My fingers are as soft as they can be. My head is lengthened up. So I'm starting off with my thumb up to the ceiling and I'm going out for 10. 1. And I should feel it. And when we work our scapular muscles, or scapular stabilization as we call it, sometimes you feel like a burn down around your mid-back, okay? And that's absolutely okay to feel. And the reason why you feel the burn is because it's such a small muscle, right? It likes to get really lazy. So when you first activate it, it burns, okay? So if you feel a burn, just suck it up, okay? Well done. And now we're going to change position, knuckles to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I can, thumb down. 1, oh that hurts. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now I'm taking the elastic from the other side and I'm pulling it across my body. Again, the skewer coming down my shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Okay, lovely job. Okay, now we're going to move on to more scapular work. So take your elastic, make it nice and flat behind your back. Okay, your elbows are by your side. We're going from a W to a T. The elastic at the back is under my shoulder blades. Do you see them there? Okay, so the reason the elastic is under my shoulder blades is it's to give my body cues as to where my shoulder blades are. So like we said at the start, our shoulder blades, because we can't see them, because we can't touch them, we very often don't know where they are in space on our body. By putting this here, it helps us to be able to feel where the shoulder blades are. Okay, so nice soft hands, elbows tucked in by my side, and the elastic is in a W, and I'm going out 1. So I am pushing out with my fingers, pulling back with my elbows. And when I cue fingers out and when I cue elbows back, my neck muscles are lovely and soft. Okay? So if I gripped it, oh, I'm crunching into my neck, but I am soft. My head is long. So you decide how hard you want to work by the different colors that you have. So I have red, which is medium. There's yellow there, which is light, and there is blue, which is hard. Okay? 5, 6, out with the fingers, back with the elbows. Out with the fingers, back with the elbows. Out with the fingers, back with the elbows. We can do it in front. Out with the fingers, back with the elbows. Out with the fingers, back with the elbows. Out with the fingers, back through the elbows. Out through the fingers, back through the elbows. Last one. Out with the fingers, back through your elbows. Okay. One of the things that happens with shoulders is that if we have any weakness around our thoracic area, okay, so my thoracic area is prone to stiffness because we are all much more sedentary than we used to be. We have cars, we have desks, and we have television. But also my ribs attach to my sternum and they go all the way around to my spine. So that makes this area very, very prone to being stiff. It's a very simple exercise to do before you get in the water or even set your computer is to fold your arms. Put your head forward, pick a spot in front. Don't move your head, okay? So when you're ready, breathe in, and as you breathe out, turn your chest all the way to the left. You will feel a stretch. Come back to the middle. Breathe in. As you breathe out, turn your head and shoulders around to the right. Come all the way back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, around to the left, all the way back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, around to the right, all the way back. Coming up higher. Wherever your elbows are, that's where you're stretching. Okay, it's a really powerful exercise, but you must keep your head forward. Breathe in. As you breathe out, chest and shoulders around to the left, bring it all the way back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, around to the right, all the way back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, around to the left, all the way back. Go all the way to tightness. Keep going, keep going. All the way out and all the way back. Excellent. Let's raise them up a little bit more. Make sure your shoulder blades are dropped and your neck is soft. Lengthen the head away. Over and back. And over, head forward. Don't let the head ride with you. Keep the head forward. So it's almost like you're a jam jar. You're twisting your top half on your bottom half. Now very gently, if you can, take your elbows up higher. Rotate and back. Keep the head forward. This is a really yummy, delicious stretch that you can do, okay? But it's very strong, so we don't do many, and rest, okay? Now we can add in rotation with scapular exercises. So get your elastic again, get underneath you, get it quite tight, okay? So when you're ready then, we're going to take the hands out. Holding the elastic out, your head is long. We're going to breathe in, and as you breathe out, we're going to rotate to the left and pulse. 1, 2, 3, back to center. The head goes with this one. To the right. 1, 2, 3, center. To the left. 1, 2, 3, center. To the right. 1, 2, 3, center. To the left. 1, 2, 3, center. Last time to the right. 1, 2, 3, center. Okay, you can always do both where you out and stretch, and back. And to the other side, stretch and back. Okay, very good. Okay, so that's your very simple exercises to help you to feel where your shoulder blade is, because you really need to get the mind connection with it, okay? What we're going to do now is we're going to do some exercises on our tummy. So a very simple rule of thumb is whatever muscle is facing the ceiling is working. We need our shoulder blades we need our back muscles to keep the shoulder blades pulled against the back, but we also need them to keep the shoulder blades pulled down. When these neck muscles are very active, they pull the shoulder blades up and they pull us into a rounded position, which gives us pain here in the front of our shoulder. So we need to get back and we need really strong back muscles, okay? So when you're ready, we're going to come down onto the floor and we're going to lie on your tummy, and the exercises that you're going to do now, these exercises, you don't feel like you're doing anything, and you probably will diss them and say, you know what, there's not much value in these. But because the back is so big, you can't really feel the benefit of what you're doing. But if you can work these exercises and if you stick with them, it will give you a really, really strong back, okay? So I'm going to give lots of modifications, okay? And you try and work the modifications that you feel work for you, okay? So when you're ready, just lie on the floor and put your forehead on your mat. Okay, so we're going to start off first of all with our hands by our side. So your forehead is on the mat and your hands are by your side. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to breathe in. As you breathe out, pull your belly button up off the mat as though there was a candle under your belly button. Hold your belly button off the candle there and then relax. So even if you feel your back muscles, okay, when we draw our belly button up off the mat, you automatically feel engagement straight away of your back muscles, okay, and release. So the first thing is you breathe in. As you breathe out, draw your belly button in, hold it there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Okay, the second one. Hands by your side. Draw your belly button in. Now, pull the tips of your shoulder. Imagine where a bra strap clasp is, okay? So the tips of your shoulder, pull the tops of your shoulders down towards where a bra strap clasp would be. So you are pulling down in a diagonal shape down to the center. Hold it there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Breathe in. As you breathe out, draw your belly button in. Slide your shoulder blades down. Hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. I want you to make sure that you're not pulling your shoulder blades straight back, but you need to be bringing them down in a diagonal into the middle. Next part, breathe in. As you breathe out, draw your belly button in. Slide your shoulder blades back, keeping your chin tucked in. Come up in a hover. Your head is the weight of 3 bags of flour, so you're adding resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lower. If you feel pain in your back, tighten your tummy muscle more. If you feel pain around your shoulder blade area, spot on. Okay, so let's go again. We always do it in sequence. Breathe in. As you breathe out, draw your belly button in. Slide your shoulder blades back. Tuck your chin in. Come up into a hover. Hold it up there. Your fingers are soft and long. Your fingers are reaching towards your feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. Breathe in. As you breathe out, draw your belly button in. Slide your shoulder blades back. Fingers long. Chin in. Come up in a hover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. Let's add on progressions. Stop where you feel is too much for you. Now we come to a W shape. Breathe in. As you breathe out, belly button in, shoulder blades back, fingers pointed forward. Come up in your hover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. If your neck muscles work, or you feel it in your back too much, it's too hard. It's not your progression yet. Go back a level. Inhale. As you exhale, belly button in, shoulder blades back, chin in, come up in a hover. Keep the belly button in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. Okay, the next progression is into a Y. Okay, so just do what works for you. So again, belly button in, shoulder blades back, come up in a hover in a Y, hold it there, reach the fingers in front and come down. Again, if the neck muscles are too active, this is too hard for you, okay? So only do it as part of your progression. Draw your belly button in. And, oh sorry, it should be T before the Y. That's why it's hard. A T is next. So draw your belly button in. So it's W, T and Y. So now we're in the T shape. Draw your belly button in, shoulder blades back, coming up. That's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back. So now I'm feeling the burn between my shoulder blades. Draw the belly button in, shoulder blades towards my bra strap, fingers long, coming up in a hover, belly button off the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and down. And again, belly button in into my T, coming up in a hover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back. And then onto the Y for those that are very strong. Belly button in, shoulder blades back, come up in your Y. Do what I say, not what I do. And come down. And again, belly button in, fingers away, coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and down. Now, when we've been on our tummy, it's really important that we counteract it, okay? And when you do tummy exercises, it is okay when you come out of the movement, just think, oh God, that doesn't feel nice. Your back will feel crotchety, okay? So put your 2 feet apart, bend your knees and come back into a shell stretch. Lengthen your hands away, okay? And lots of big deep breaths. Good. And coming up again and coming all the way back and lengthen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and back. Okay, so another way that's really good to stabilize our scapula and to get feedback is by doing work through the hand, okay? So again, a very simple exercise that we do an awful lot in Pilates is 4-point kneeling. So my hand is under my shoulder. So because my hand is under my shoulder, I'm giving lots of feedback. So my shoulder blade knows where it should be. But it's really important that when we do this, that we make sure that our spine is straight. Sometimes if our shoulders are sore, we can come up like this, so the back is arched. So maybe do a few cat and camels just to find your midpoint. Okay, so now we're in the midpoint. My head is stretched away from my tailbone. I drop my tummy to the mat. I drop my tummy a little bit more. And now I breathe in, and as I breathe out, I pull my belly button all the way up towards my spine. I hold my belly button against my spine. Now, I said earlier, whatever muscle is facing the ceiling is working. So even me weight bearing through my hand with my scapular muscles facing the ceiling means that my muscles are working nicely. Okay, so even this is enough. Okay, so now, and relax the tummy. So breathe in. As you breathe out, pull the belly button up towards your spine. Now I reach my right hand in front as far as I can. If I had a tray of drinks on my back, it wouldn't spill, and then the hand comes back all the way. If you feel your body shift from one side to the other, stop. Okay, you're not strong enough. You only stay as far as you are level. Okay, on the other side, tummy in. Lengthen your left hand away as far as you can. Reach, reach, reach. Come all the way back. Tummy in nice and tight. Slide my right leg away. Point the right foot. Lift it up. Lower the leg. Bring the knee back. Switch sides. Draw my belly button in. Slide my left leg away. Lift the left leg up. Hold it up there. Take the knee back. Lower it down. Opposite arm and leg. Left hand planted, right knee planted, right hand, left leg reaches away. Reach them away as far as you can. Hold it there as long as you can to get these big back muscles all working together, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back. Change sides. Point the right foot away. Lengthen the left foot away. Let's keep it going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's take it all the way back. One more time. Point tummy in to begin. If in doubt, breathe out. Tummy in. Left leg pointed, right foot away. Lengthen away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And coming all the way back in. One more time on the other side. Point and reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And coming all the way back in. Okay, so our sport is in a dynamic environment, okay? In an ideal world, we would be keeping ourselves on stable surfaces, but no, we like to go someplace where it's more turbulent. So to get the shoulder blade used to change and used to reacting under pressure, we can start to use a ball or a hot water bottle or a foam roller under your hand, okay? So we can do the same exercise with 2 balls, okay? So again, I'm stretching my left leg behind to begin, and my right hand is reaching. So my left hand has to, my shoulder blade has to stop the ball wobbling, coming all the way back and changing sides. Tummy in, lengthen my left leg away. My right hand is on the ball, is trying to keep stable and coming all the way back, okay? So in your own time, you can practice with different things for your stability, okay? Now, one of the really important things that has come out recently with rehab is that if you do one good focused session a week, okay? So one very solid session a week. If you do 50% for 2 or 3 minutes of that for the rest of the week, you get the same benefits as you do for that one session, okay? So if you can, do one good session a week, focusing on these basics for your shoulder, and then even thinking about it during the week will maintain those benefits, okay? So you don't need to be doing a lot every day, you just do a little bit for some days. Okay, right. So we looked at our shoulder position, we looked at our hand and elbow, we looked at our tummy work because that's really good for shoulders, okay? So now I want to do a little bit of stretching, and this is something that I want you to start doing before you go in the water. I want you to start looking at your awareness, okay? And I want you to just start feeling how your shoulder is moving. What's really, really helpful for us is that because we have 2 arms, you can tell if something isn't right with one. So there's no harm every so often in standing in front of the mirror and just raising your arms up and down and looking, is there the same muscle bulk on each side? Do the biceps look even? Do your palmar muscles look even? Yeah? Get someone to look at you from the back. Do your shoulder blades look equal on the same side? Have a look at your neck muscles. Does one look higher than the other? Are you prone to stress in that? So don't be afraid to look at yourself. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. You're the driver of the car, so you need to know what all the signs and signals and gadgets are for. So you need to know when my hands are relaxed, my big power muscles are working. When my elbows are by my side, my power muscles are working. When my head is lengthened, my power muscles are working, okay? When I'm stressed or if I've had a hard day or if I'm more fatigued, my small muscles are working. This is when I'm prone to injury because my scapula isn't down where it should be. So start taking control of your shoulders and of your scapula. Have your elastic at your desk. Have it hanging off a door, and every time you pass it, do 1 or 2 of your shoulder blade exercises. One of the best things that you can have for your shoulder is a fitness circle. I don't have one. But if you have a fitness circle, if your elbows are by your side, just by pushing in the fitness circle, you're working your front muscles. Pull your fingers apart and you work your back scapula muscles, okay? Right. 2 more things to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a lovely little ab workout now, very gently with the paddles. And then we're going to come into a standing position and I'm going to give you stretches to do before you get in the water as a little awareness session, okay? So when you're ready, we're just going to take our paddles. Actually, I'm going to take mine in half because otherwise I hit the wall. Okay, so when you're ready, let's just do a little bit of work on our shoulders, okay? So breathe in. So the first thing is put your hands up to the ceiling with your paddle, okay? Reach your paddle up to the ceiling. Now pull your shoulder blades back, and when you pull your shoulder blades back, it'll take the paddle down. And again, reach the fingers up, pull the shoulder blades back. That's where we need them to be, by our bra strap. Now, when you're ready, I want you to bring your shoulders up towards your ears, and now pull your shoulder blades away from your ears and up towards your ears and all the way back. Lovely. Now, when you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, take one leg up, take the second leg up. Hands on your paddle, right? I want you to push your two hands together and push your two hands together and feel your tummy muscles working. And I want you to feel, finger soft, tummy muscles working. Okay, and I want you to feel your pec muscles working. So when you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, come up to look at your knees. Keep pushing the hands in. Left leg away. And switch. Keep pushing in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep pushing in. 5. Keep pushing in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Lower the head. Opposite this time. Little fingers pulling apart. Pull the little fingers apart. Now feel your back muscles working. When you're ready again, come up to look at your knees. And let's go. 1, 2, keep pulling it apart. 3, come on, pull it apart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Lower the head. Okay, lovely one coming up. Breathe in. As you breathe out, take one leg up. Take the second leg up. Come up to look at your knees. Push the paddle against your knees, right? Push your knees into the paddle. Push your thumbs together. So you are pulling the knees up. You are pushing the paddle into the knees. You are pushing the hands in. Let's hold it for 20. 20, 10, 19, 18. Come on, keep going. 17, 16, 15, 14. Push the knees in. Push the hands away. Come on, use those thumbs. 10, 9, 8. Elbows in. Notice how the elbows come up as you get tired. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower one leg. Lower the other. Lower the head. Fab, isn't it? Okay, other way. Pull the paddles apart. Notice as you get tired how the hands grip more and the elbows come out. So when you're ready, take one leg to tabletop and take the second. Come up to look at your knees. Pull the paddle apart. Push the paddle into your knees. Push your knees into the paddle. Pull the shaft of the paddle apart. Let's hold it there for 20. Okay, come on. The harder you work, the better it is. Come on, getting a whole body workout in 20 seconds. 20. 19, pull the fingers apart. 18, 17, 16, 15, come on, come on. 12, 11, 10, ribs to hips. 9, 8, 7, keep pulling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower one leg, lower the other. Marvellous job. So it's a very quick overall body, scapula, abs, pec muscle workout. So even just doing those two exercises will really help to sharpen things up. Okay, so now what I want to show you is just some lovely stretches just to do before you get in the water, okay? So when you're ready, come up into a standing position. Okay, so standing with your paddle, won't get far like this. Okay, so standing with your paddle, okay, before you get in the water or even sitting in the water, remember your fingers, remember your elbows, hands on your paddle shaft and just elbows by your side, pulling your fingers apart. Feel your shoulder blades working behind you. Okay, feel where your neck muscles are. If your neck muscles are tense, soften the fingers. Pull out through your little fingers. Remember, when we work distally, we switch off the misbehaving muscles, okay? Excellent, and relax. Other way. Up nice and tall, weight on your heels, pushing the paddles, pushing your thumbs in together. Feel your pec muscles working, feel your ab muscles working. My elbows are coming out. Okay, soften the elbows. Okay, and just push in from the thumbs, feel the muscles working and relax. Okay. This is, again, thoracic spine, standing by the water, doing a lovely rotation. I can't do it here, the paddles are too long, but just doing your lovely rotation back with a little finger and just getting a lovely swinging momentum going. Standing up nice and tall, I want you to put the weight on your heels. Bring your belly button up towards your ribs. Take your hands up to the ceiling. Lengthen your fingers up to the ceiling. Breathe in. As you breathe out, feel that you're being pulled all the way up to the ceiling by a crane. Keep breathing and release. Well done. Weight back onto your heels. Head stretched up. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lengthen your fingers all the way up to the ceiling as far as you can. Lengthen up, lengthen up, lengthen up. Lots of big deep breaths into your ribs. Beautiful. You've been pulled up by a crane. Keep reaching and coming all the way down. So we keep our tummy in so that we don't stretch back because we want to get the stretch through here. The next one, inhale. As you exhale, weight onto your heels. Draw your belly button up towards your ribs. Lengthen your fingers up to the ceiling. You are stuck between two plates of glass. Up and over to the left-hand side. Keep the right foot planted. You're stuck between glass. You can't go forward or back. All the way up. Belly button tight. Reach up and over. Don't bend the elbows because we want to get a good side bend. And up. Excellent. Reach up and over to the left. Big stretch on the right. And up. Last one. Up and over. And back and down. Now, draw your belly button in. Tighten your bum, weight on your heels, fingers to the ceiling, keeping the tummy in, paddles up and over and all the way back and release. Tummy in, bum tight to protect your spine, up and over, beautiful, and back and down. Last one, hands behind your back, lengthen up. Okay, so when we lengthen our head and when we draw in our tummy, it's just our arms that are moving. Whereas if we don't draw on the tummy, we can get a whole body moving, okay? So weight on your heels engages the bum. Draw your belly button up. Your head is lengthened to the ceiling. Take the hands back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Go into the tightness, don't be afraid of it. Lengthen up, all the way back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. And last time, tummy in, lengthen up, all the way back and release. Marvelous job. One more. Turn your hands around. Draw your belly button in and just extend back. So again, bum and tummy button. Lengthen up, tummy and bum. Well done. Last one. Lengthen up, coming all the way back and rest and stop. Okay, well done. Okay, so just to summarize, the fitness circle and the TheraBand is your best friend when it comes to shoulder and scapula. When we do shoulder exercises, we need to think of the whole body. Less is more. So when you do small exercises, you work the small muscles. These hold the joint in its most favorable position so the big power muscles can work without having to worry about stabilizing the joint. So to get big power muscles working, you need to get your deep muscles working in your shoulder and you need to switch off your neck muscles. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror. Watch how your body moves with the shoulder. When we do the small exercises, you don't feel anything, and that's very often why people think that they're ineffective. When we do exercises, especially building muscles, often it takes 6 to 8 weeks for change. So when you do exercises, you need to stick with it time-wise. Quick fix-wise, I wish there was one, but there isn't. I'd be a millionaire. You have to give stuff the time. You have to be keeping this basic maintenance work going all the time, especially if you are putting high pressure, high mileage on a joint. Remember your connection between your work and your shoulder. What's your hand doing? What's your elbow doing? What is your head doing? Look at the whole body. The shoulder doesn't exist on its own. Last point, if you have a problem, get it dealt with early. Okay, don't let anything fester. Please deal with it as soon as you can. Okay, give everything a go, and thanks for watching and looking forward to seeing you on the water.
Hello, Amy.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great, thank you so much. But yeah, love the hot water bottle now. Just want to say to people there, you're using a hot water bottle, no hot water in it when you're doing it. Just in case, make sure it's cold water. Yeah, like you've obviously been a physio for 20 years now, Amy. You're a Pilates instructor as well, been a paddler for many years. What are the key points you would like people to take home from today?
I think what I want people to take home is that with a shoulder, you have to look at the whole person and you have to look at the top from the head down. The second thing that is so important is that what you do Monday to Friday makes a difference. So you need to be looking at your driving, you need to be looking at your sitting at your desk, you need to be looking at how much activity you do. The other thing that's really important is that you need to be dealing with niggles straight away. If you have a niggle or a problem, you have to sort it. And sometimes when we have a niggle, it goes away and we don't rehab it fully. So if you do have a problem, if you are given exercises, you do really need to complete the course. Sometimes if we have problems with the shoulders, it can take up to 12 weeks to resolve. But sometimes after 2 or 3 weeks, we kind of give up on the exercises. So if you have been given a rehab program, or if you do have a problem, you do have to just suck it up when it comes to the time that you have to give it the time and the attention that it needs, more so than any other joint, really.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. We have a tendency, as soon as we don't feel it anymore, we think we're all good, but like, our bodies are forever after, and we need to maintain them, and we do expose them, especially in paddling. We expose our shoulders to some really extreme things. I'm going to go straight to questions. There's quite a few questions are coming in now. What can you do if you have a dominant and weaker arm? My left is a bit weaker and I'm trying to strengthen it.
I think what's really interesting is that nobody's been born perfect, and that nobody has both sides the same, and everybody does have a weaker side, because we're either right-handed or with our occupations we do something more dominant. So and that's why paddling is so good, because you have to work bilaterally, otherwise you go around in circles. So if you do have one hand that's weaker, if you are doing exercises, you do 5 on your strong hand, you do 8 on your weaker hand, but it doesn't get stronger by itself. You have to put the work in. And with muscles, when we are strengthening muscles, often you don't see change until about 6 weeks afterwards, because the muscle has to grow and develop to the stresses that we're putting on it. So again, getting things strong, it's a long game. It's not a quick fix. So do your exercises for 6 weeks. But the other thing that happens is that we're a day older every day. So as part of the normal aging process, we do naturally lose muscle strength. We lose about 1% a year. So that's why we should all be doing exercises all the time. That the weekend warrior stuff, as we get older, we're not really able to take it. So even 10, so what the research is coming out now, and what it's saying that if you do one really good session a week of strength work, that even if you do 2 or 3 minutes, 20 or 30% of what you did for the one session, it's just as valid. So this thing of having to exercise 5 times a week at maximum capacity is gone. So one good session, and then you just tip over during the week and do another good session at the weekend. So it's actually not as much as what we think it is.
So you're saying little and often, and I liked what you're saying, try and build it into your everyday habits. They talk about stacking habits. So if you can stack that into a habit that you already do. Everyone brushes their teeth. I'm sure we can do a bit of scapular activation when we're brushing our teeth. Yeah, perfect. Keep on going through the questions. Thanks for that, Amy. Very informative. How important is it to stretch before paddling? I've heard it's more important to stretch afterwards.
You know what? Stretching is a funny one. Normally a muscle gets tight because it's weak. Okay, so if we stretch a muscle that's weak, it gets tight and short because it needs to, that's its way of forming strength. So if you strengthen like your rotator cuff, then your pec muscles or your neck muscles will naturally release. So I think if you're stretching, you were just doing stretching just to get the blood flowing and just to get your circulation going and just to get awareness into your body. And it's the same after a session. You just do stretches, start small and get bigger and bigger and bigger just to get the circulation going in the body. So now by strengthening muscles that are tight, loose, and so we wouldn't go in and try and stretch a muscle that's tight. A muscle is tight for a reason. But if you are doing your stretches, we always start very, very small and then we get bigger and bigger and bigger. So a very nice thing to do is if you get your hand, put your fingers on your hand, and if you pull back your fingers, right, the sensation that you feel across the front of your fingers is the body's natural response to stretch. So when you are doing your exercises, always keep going until you feel that sensation. And if you feel that sensation, you're getting into a lovely new range in the joint. So yeah, if in doubt, pull back your fingers. If it feels like that, it's okay to continue. But I wouldn't be targeting stretching one joint in particular unless there was a strengthening program with it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I love the little analogy, we'll get there. The feeling of so you understand what the feeling of stretch is there. We called this workshop shoulder stability and activation, and I think it is getting towards that mindset of activation, switching on the muscles. That's what we want. And stretching isn't the priority. Switching on the muscles we need and strengthening them are, because that's what gives the balance to our movement and to exercising. Thank you so much on that one. We keep on going along. What happens if I get pain on long trips, but it's fine on short trips?
Well, you see, the thing is that our shoulders, okay, so I suppose our body doesn't like going from small to big. Our body likes to build things up gradually. So when we increase our mileage slowly, the tendon, the muscle, the ligaments, they all respond to the stresses that we're putting on them. So if we do weekend warrior and do short trips and then we go on a big long trip, it's going to hurt because the body hasn't adapted to it. But normally that kind of hurt, it goes away. There's a reason for it. You know, I think very much we almost need to understand pain as well. Like not all pain is bad, like all hurt isn't harm. So that person who has pain on a long trip, it's probably because they've just done a long trip, and it's probably, you know, put a hot water bottle on it when you go home, have a bath, some Epsom salts, and, you know, the day out is probably overrides any pain that you have. But again, don't do the weekend warrior. Build yourself up slowly and get, you know, be sensible. Give the body time to adjust to the stresses putting on it, because it doesn't like undue stress.
Yeah, I think you used a really key word there, adaptation. And the body does whatever you stimulate it with, it will adapt to, but it's getting the right level of stimulation. And as you say, it's not to go all out in one go, but make sure that that's little bits at a time and it will adapt. So another question. Oh yeah, I can probably, oh no, we've got another one for, do things go away if you ignore them?
No, we're getting older every single day. There's a really, now I know it's probably coming from my job that I do say this. There's a really simple I suppose formula that we use when it comes in the body. Okay, so if you say pull your hamstring, okay, and then if that, or you do your rotator cuff, and if it repairs, right, it will repair at about 80% of the tensile strength that it had before, but the pain goes away. And you go out and you injure it again and it repairs, it'll repair at 80%. But if you have an injury and if you rehab it, okay, because of the putting the tension and stuff onto the joint, we need to rehab it back to 100%, so that if you get an injury again, you won't be getting 80 of 80 of 80. And that's why people often have progressive injuries. So that's why if you do have an injury, that even though the pain goes, very often the repair and the remodeling of the tissue needs to happen for a couple of more weeks after, because we know that it takes about 12 weeks for our tendons to really get to the 100% strength, but pain goes at about 70 or 80% healing. So that's why we're very bad for it, but we have to finish off a rehab program. And I suppose that's the other thing is that maybe if we have an injury, it's quite important that we, like if you have a shoulder injury, that you just keep doing these exercises. They don't cost you any money to do. They take you 5 minutes a day, but it's giving the tendons and the muscles the proper input and the proper stimulus they need to be strong, you know, because we are declining, you know, 1% every year, we can't deny it. And I suppose with women as well, I suppose around the time of the menopause, from our 40s onwards, we have hormonal changes that cause changes to the collagen, which is the base building blocks of our body. So we are prone to getting more aches and pains. And I suppose with women as well, hormonal changes that we have cause different sensitivities to pain. So even though something that may have been fine and perfect around menopause, all of a sudden it'll feel like a niggle, and women might stop sport, and especially around the shoulders, women are more prone around menopause, frozen shoulder and stuff. So, but by exercising through it, it dampens down the pain and it gets it strong. So I suppose women just need to be very mindful that if they do feel it, it is part of the normal female aging process, and exercises help it. That's deviated, I know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's as if you had guessed the next question. Hi, Amy, thanks so much for your workshop. Can you tell us why are postmenopausal women prone to shoulder problems? Thanks.
Yeah, it's hormonal changes, but I suppose and it's prone to Achilles tendonitis and plantar fasciitis as well. So all the big tendon areas. So what they're thinking is that if you had an injury before, that the body never really sensed it as an injury, but because of the hormone changes around menopause, all of a sudden things are really sensitive. So where you're feeling pain, there may not be any hurt or harm under there, but at the same time, get it checked out and exercise as well.
Brilliant.
Same exercises.
Hi, Amy, do you ever build in any low rep, higher weight to the exercises you demonstrated, or do you generally keep the rep range 10 to 12?
You know what, it's different for everybody, and I suppose so many things can go wrong with the shoulder that exercise is very much prescription based. So we look at exercise on a dose ratio. So I suppose it depends on what you were working on, but yeah, it was different shoulder conditions would use different reps and different strength and different conditions. Yeah, so I would do it on a prescription basis. Yeah, that doesn't really answer the question, but no, exercise is medicine, and you, yeah.
Okay. And then great compliments here. Savage session, very informative and easy to understand. Any chance we could do another one for lower back, hips and glutes? Well, that I can maybe answer that. That's on its way. Yes. You are on again on the, excuse me, on the 30th of January for a workshop called Hips Don't Lie. So you maybe want to talk a little bit about what you're going to cover in that one.
Yeah, the again, hips are very linked to back, and like shoulder and neck, our back and our hips are very closely connected, and they're also very closely connected to our pelvic floor and our breathing as well. So again, when it comes to hips and when it comes to low back, we don't just focus on one area. We have to look at the whole package, and we have to and again, when it comes to back and hip, often like the shoulder, less is more, and doing smaller exercises. And again, it's looking at lifestyle. But what I wanted to say there as well is when it comes down to back and it comes down to shoulders, that when we look at healing isn't linear. The healing comes up and down. But very often lifestyle factors are very important as well for our healing. So things like our sleep hygiene, things like our diet, alcohol, especially when it comes to shoulders. Shoulders and neck pain, that smoking is very correlated to neck and shoulder pain and to tendon health. So I suppose for happy shoulders, you really would want to look at your smoking habit if you did have one. So yeah, so it's with healing in the body, it's a whole lifestyle thing. It's your sleep, your anxiety, your stress, your diet, your fluids, your alcohol, and your smoking, for everything.
Brilliant. We have a question. Can you please tell us what a frozen shoulder is?
A frozen shoulder. So our joints are like the light bulbs, and they are surrounded by a thing called a capsule. So a capsule keeps the fluid inside a joint. So our joint surfaces don't have a blood supply. So our joint surfaces rely on movement to bathe them and to feed them. But to keep all this fluid in one place, they are surrounded by a capsule. So what a frozen shoulder is, we call it a capsulitis. It is where this capsule gets inflamed. Now, I suppose a frozen shoulder, the Chinese say that there is a limiting time scale in it, and that you have a freezing, a frozen, and thawing phase. It's normally self-limiting. It normally does burn itself out. Don't know why it's triggered. Again, it's very common in postmenopausal women. Exercise works for some, exercise doesn't work for others. It's one of these things that it can take a good 6 to 8 months, and in most cases it does resolve itself. Nobody knows why, but yeah, physio and exercise for it is quite hard going. Yeah, it's yeah, postmenopausal women more prone to it as well, just like the Achilles and the plantar fasciitis. Again, going back to collagen, hormonal changes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a whole hour. Yeah. on frozen shoulders. Yeah. Acupuncture works wonders for it. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Everyone's getting so many tips here. Thanks a million, me. Much appreciated. Have a few more exercises now to add to my routine. Delighted paddler. Question here. Well, I can answer a little bit of it, and you can talk as well. We'll be releasing. So the Hips Don't Lie. You can't sign up for it yet. We're going to release them. We've got a 7-week program, and we're releasing 2 weeks at a time. So it will be on the 30th of January. So next week we'll start releasing for signing up on that. Do you want to talk a little bit about the other workshops you'll be running, Amy?
So there's 2 other workshops we're doing. We're doing a workshop.
Three.
Three, sorry. If you know what a roto bat was, or a stunt bat, or if you had Slagle paddles with metal on the tips, well then the senior paddler workshop is for you. Hannah hasn't a clue what those boats are. So there's a workshop for the senior paddler, because I think we need to think of people at the other end of the spectrum and keep them moving as well. And then we're having a workshop on the female paddler, and this is a quite important one. We look at all the different stages in life, from you know, pre-baby, pregnancy, postnatal. We look at pelvic floor, we look at health issues, we look around the area of the menopause. So yeah, so hopefully the workshops will cover everybody and give people a chance to ask questions that they probably wouldn't ask normally. Yeah.
Brilliant. And there was a question there, I'll answer that one. So Amy's video, she did a really good video. It's obviously that's been recorded, and that will be available on the Canoeing Ireland YouTube channel. Will be just slightly edited from what it was, but that's an incredible resource. And we're so fortunate that Amy has given her time to the whole paddling community here. So I hope you guys had really enjoyed it. There's a few more, I think, questions just popping in at the end. Great session. Will be possible to get a copy so we can practice. Yep, that's what I said.
We did say we might do a PDF of the exercises that people could download if they wanted to. Yeah,
we can follow that up, probably on an email as well. And then, yeah, I answered the question to the hips one, so we're all good. Any last questions? If anyone wants to pop something in there. Oh, I think this one has just come in. No, we just got a brilliant, thank you. Maybe if anyone, the fitness circle, could you maybe explain slightly? I'm going to do a quick search for an image to pop it in the chat here.
So the fitness circle are €1.50 at the moment in deals. You always see them in the middle aisle in Aldi or Lidl. So the fitness circles are fantastic. And just keep them, you know, on the couch. So basically with your elbows by your side with a fitness circle, if you just squeeze the hands in together, again, long fingers, you're going to work your front muscles. And then if you pull your fingers apart, you work your back scapular muscles. So it's just one of those things that you can do sitting down. Again, we talk about exercise snacking. So if you snack and do 2 or 3 exercises 10 times a day, that's 30. Whereas if you did 30 exercises, you'd hurt. So it's just to keep that awareness going all the time. But yeah, 150 in deals at the moment.
Thank you. Yeah. I've just popped into the chat there an image if people want to have a look at what it looks like. Yeah, PDF would be amazing. Thanks so much for a great session. So really good feedback. So I'm just going to finish off my with a massive thank you to Amy, a massive thank you to everyone who came and attended. if you have any questions about any of the workshops coming up, you can always get me at hannah@canoe.ie. We've got a great program, really diverse people coming on